Hello, Super Saver. I hope you're doing well. Today's video is for those of you who want to know how to buy new issue Treasury bills on Vanguard. New issue T-bills are new batches of Treasury bills that the U.S. government sells directly to investors via their auction process. This video will not talk about purchasing old Treasury bills that are already floating around the secondary market. And if you're interested more in purchasing Treasury notes and or bonds, no worries. The process for buying new Treasury notes and bonds is similar to that for buying new T-bills. Now, if you're new to T-bills, be sure to take a look at this Treasury bill checklist here on the top 9 things that you need to know about T-bills before diving into a T-bill investment. I've linked the relevant video below in case you're interested in further details. So let's jump right in and talk about how to find out when your new T-bills are available for purchase. How to buy a new T-bill at Vanguard step by step, and what the fees are for buying Treasury bills from Vanguard. If you want to skip around to specific sections, I've included timestamps below. The government sells new issue T-bills via U.S. Treasury auctions. New issue 4, 8, 13, and 26-week T-bills are auctioned off weekly, and new issue 52-week T-bills are auctioned off monthly. New issue Treasury notes and bonds are also auctioned off monthly. This means that in the current environment, every week you can buy a new 4, 8, 13, and or 26-week T-bill, and every month you can buy a new 52-week T-bill to take advantage of rising interest rates. Once you know which T-bills you want to buy, download this tentative auction schedule from Treasury Direct's website. I've included the link for that also below this video. The first 3 columns, security type, announcement date, and auction date, are the most important. The security type column shows which Treasury securities are being sold. So here we have some notes and bonds, and below that, a bunch of T-bills. The announcement date column shows when a particular security will show up in your Vanguard account and be available for purchase. When you can first place your order, basically. This order that you place via Vanguard is what is known in the industry as a non-competitive bid. And this auction date column here shows when the price yield of the security you've placed an order for will be determined. This price yield is determined by a competitive bidding process amongst the big banks and other institutional investors. In a nutshell, you need to place your purchase order with Vanguard between the announcement date and the auction date. Now, if you're asking yourself, so I don't know the price that I'll be paying and the amount of interest that I'll be earning when I put my order in with Vanguard, the answer is no, you don't. That will only be determined when the big guys do their competitive bidding on the auction date. Vanguard does give you an indicative yield beforehand. I'll show you where to find this later on. Also, you can get a feeling for pricing and rates by going to this page here, Treasury Direct's Announcements, Data, and Results page, which I've linked below. It shows the rates for the most recent auctions by security type, issue date, and maturity date. If you want more details on competitive versus non-competitive bidding, T-bill pricing, interest, and taxation, and my personal preference for buying at auctions versus the secondary market, then be sure to check out this T-bill must-knows video here that I've linked below. So for this tutorial, I bought this 4-week T-bill here, meaning I had to place my order with Vanguard between the October 4th announcement date and the October 6th auction date, which is what I did. Now, let's walk through how I actually did this on the Vanguard website. First, I'm going to log into my Vanguard account. Here's my account summary screen that shows up. I'm going to click on what we offer up here. From this pull-down menu, I'll select Bonds. What will appear next is this Bonds page. I'm going to click on Get Started. And on the next screen, I'll choose which Vanguard account I want to buy my T-bills in, and then I'll click Continue. This fine brokered CDs and bond screen will now appear. I thought this note up here about Vanguard not offering I-bonds was a bit funny. Clearly, they've received a lot of requests about I-bonds. Moving on, here I'll select Treasuries. And in the box that appears below, I'll select Auction and then click Search. What shows up next is a list of new issue Treasury auctions. This column shows the security type. These next columns show for each security type the maturity date, when the auction opens, when you absolutely must have your order in by, the minimum quantity, the maximum quantity, and the settlement date. Keep in mind that this minimum quantity of 1 here means you need to buy at least $1,000 of treasuries. This last column here shows the indicative yield. If I scroll down to the footnotes, I'll see that the indicative yield is an estimate based off of the most recently issued treasury security of similar maturity, and that the actual treasury auction results will often vary from the indicative yield. And I may receive at auction an actual yield that is higher or lower than the indicative yield, meaning I don't know the price I'll be paying when I place my order, as I've already mentioned earlier. Now, let's scroll back up to where we were before. Any treasury security with a buy next to it means that it's available for purchase. Those without a buy, like this one here, means that the auction has not been announced yet. To buy this T-bill, I would need to come back on this date when the auction opens. I'm just going to click on Buy here next to the 4-week T-bill that I'm buying for this tutorial. And here's the page that appears next. Now I'll double check that the 1-month US Treasury bill is indeed the one that I want to buy. I'll also reconfirm the indicative yield, the maturity date, and the purchase quantity. Again, take note of this message down here that estimated prices are not available for auction orders. These orders will receive the high discount rate, yield, or discount margin that are set at the auction. Basically, this indicative yield is not a guarantee. I knew this already, so I'm just going to click Continue. On the next page, I'm asked to review and then submit my Treasury auction purchase. I'll read through all the information as always. Then I'll scroll down and double check the purchase order I'm about to submit, and the warnings here about interest rate risk and that the value of my investment can decline due to rising interest rates, as well as the fact that longer maturities have higher interest rate risk. Now I'll click Submit Purchase. And I'm done, Super Saver. Here's my confirmation. And on the day of the auction, once the bidding is over, I'll receive a brokerage transaction confirmation like this one via email telling me to log into my Vanguard account for further pricing details. So to see the price I paid for my T-bill, I'll have to log into my Vanguard account and click on Activity. And I'll come to this summary of recent transactions. And here, I'll see how much I paid for my 4-week T-bills. Zero fees. That's the great news. Vanguard charges 0 fees on Treasury transactions, both new issues at auction and trades in the secondary market. Having said that, if you scroll down, you'll see that a $25 broker-assisted fee will be assessed on fixed income transactions traded on the secondary market by telephone. Okay, my financial friend, I hope this video has helped take some of the mystery and anxiety out of buying new issue T-bills from Vanguard. And if you're curious to see which T-bills I currently hold in some of my accounts, then take a look here at this video on how I built my $60,000 T-bill ladder to take advantage of rising rates in this current volatile market. As always, if you enjoyed this video, don't forget that thumbs up and see you again soon with another exciting wealth building video.